Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over 10 things that new players need to own in Grand Theft Auto Online in order to start their GTA Online career. Now, some of these things are going to be businesses, some of these things are going to be helpful to have in order to make money and protect yourself from other players in online. Some are for pure convenience sake, so let's go ahead and get started with number 10. At number 10 we have the Armored Kuruma, coming in at $525,000 all the way up to $698,250. Now you can get the trade price for this by completing the Fleeca job, but you will need one other player in order to do this, and good luck finding one. This car is almost 100% bulletproof. It is all-wheel drive and it is in the sports category. Very useful vehicle to own for early game grinding missions against like NPCs and stuff like that, whether you're doing headhunter or actual contact missions. The Armored Kuruma is going to be very, very useful in order to make you a little bit of money in online to get you started. The only thing the Armored Kuruma isn't really good at is fighting other players, because other players have explosives and the Armored Kuruma has absolutely no armor despite its name, and it will die in one explosive no matter what. So keep that in mind, but the Armored Kuruma still is a great vehicle for newer players to own. Definitely one that I would recommend. Next up at number 9 we have the Buzzard Attack Chopper. You can find this on Warstock Cash and Carry for $1,750,000, and it can be spawned in through the CEO interaction menu for free once you own it, which is very, very useful. It has lock-on missiles and really, really effective dual miniguns that are on this helicopter, and they will damn near kill anything faster than the missiles as long as you can stay on target with them. Now what's nice about the Buzzard Attack Chopper is, like I said, when you're a CEO you can spawn this thing within 20 feet of you for free as long as you own it. If you don't own it, it's going to cost you $25,000 every single time you do it, so that is going to rack up over time for sure, and it's not that armored unfortunately, so you will probably lose the ability to fly it relatively fast depending on what you're doing. However, the helicopter is very useful in the early game of GTA Online for sure, and it is definitely one that I would recommend picking up more so than anything else when you're first starting the game. Next up at number 8 we have the Fort Zancudo Hangar $34.97. Now this is the cheapest hangar that you can get in Fort Zancudo, and this is going to be very useful for you for the rest of the time you play GTA Online. Owning this hangar allows you to fly over top of Fort Zancudo as well as get entry into the base without getting a wanted level. Now the hangar business that comes with the hangar has had some pretty major improvements recently, and you can actually make a decent amount of money with the business, as well as of course you can store planes and helicopters as well as customize them as long as you have the hangar workshop. But also for owning this hangar, when you get into the base you're not going to have a wanted level, which means you're going to be able to steal lasers really, really easily. You're only going to get like a 2-star when you steal one, and it's really easy to get away with it. And then you can use the laser for doing missions and stuff like that, like headhunter or contact missions if you want to. And when you're doing sale missions for other businesses in online that require you to fly north on the map or south from the north on the map, you can fly directly over the military base instead of having to go around it to one side to avoid getting a 4-star wanted level. So overall, the Fort Zancudo Hangar $34.97 is definitely a good purchase to have in the early game of GTA Online. It can make you some money, it gets you prepared for owning helicopters and planes in the future, and it will grant you access to the military base, which is pretty awesome. Next up at number 7 we have the Little Soul Agency. Now this goes for $2,010,000. So it's the cheapest agency that you can get to start out with. And this business will give you access to some of the best ways to make money when you're starting out. Firstly, it gives you access to security contracts through the computer in the agency. It also gives you access to the contract heist, which takes just about 2 hours maybe. Depending on how much you do it, you'll probably get a lot better at it. You can probably knock it out in more like an hour and a half, and that will pay you $1 million for completing it. You also get access to payphone hits, which pay you $85,000 upon completion, and they usually take about 5 minutes only. And there's a safe that's included in the agency that earns money directly affected by how many security contracts that you have actually completed. And the amount of money scales up to a maximum of $20,000 every 48 minutes of real time, which is actually pretty good. But of course, in order to do that, you're going to have to complete 200 security contracts. However, the security contracts pay between $30,000 to $80,000 per, and they're usually very easy. So the agency is definitely a good business to have when you're first starting out in the game. It's going to earn you a lot of money, and it has the ability to earn you some passive income for when you're later into the game as well, which is very, very handy. Next up at number 6, we have the Acid Lab. Now this is going to run you $750,000 plus an additional $250K in order to actually make the Acid Lab into a very good business. When it's just the regular Acid Lab, without the equipment upgrade, it's not super good, but with the $250,000 equipment upgrade, it is truly one of the best businesses in the game, especially for how easy it is to get. In order to unlock the Acid Lab, you just have to complete the first dose missions from the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. And a fun fact, you can actually name your acid product now for an additional 5% bonus on your sales, which is pretty easy to do because you simply just have to name your Acid Lab, and it's going to earn you about an additional $15,000 every time you sell. It makes your product really, really fast. The Acid Lab itself is also one of the most armored vehicles in the game, being able to take 48 homing missiles, which is nuts. So overall, the Acid Lab, very, very good business. Definitely look into getting that one for sure. And at number 5, we have the Ocelot Virtue, and this kind of ties into the Acid Lab a little bit. This thing's going to run you $2,235,000 if you have the trade price, or $2,980,000 if you don't have the trade price. Now this is an Imani Tech supercar, which means that you can put a missile lock-on jammer on it as well as armor, which is going to help you for free mode in online quite a lot. Now the best part about the Ocelot Virtue is that you can actually get it completely for free. All you're going to have to do is complete the first and last dose missions from the Drug Wars DLC. So the first dose missions will get you the Acid Lab, and the last dose missions will get you the Ocelot Virtue for free, and it's a $3 million supercar, and it's really, really fast. And with the Imani Tech that you can put on it as well, it truly is one of the best vehicles in the entire game for free mode, that's for sure. Next up at number 4, as we get a little bit later into the game, you're going to want to pick yourself up a CEO office and some cargo warehouses. Now with cargo warehouses, you can make an insane amount of money, especially when they're on double money and double RP. But now that you've actually got some businesses like the Acid Lab and the agency as well as the hangar, you can start to make some real money in online. But with CEO cargo, you can make an absolute ton. Now, I would recommend picking up large cargo warehouses because they hold 111 crates, and it will cost you a total of about $666,000 to fill up a warehouse entirely, but it will sell for $2,220,000. So you're pretty much tripling your money with a CEO cargo warehouse. Now the CEO office itself will also allow you to export mixed goods every 48 minutes, which will only take about 3 minutes, but you will need to own a cargo warehouse. And that's going to pay you $50,000, and it regens every 48 minutes, so you can keep doing it over and over again, which is really, really good. And for the next business you should pick up, we have the Farmhouse Bunker. Now, the reason that I say the Farmhouse Bunker is because this is by far the best bunker location in the entire game. There's going to be some guys in the comments who are going to say that Chumash is just as good and They're lying to you. I promise the Farmhouse is simply the best. The bunker is a very good business, and it's going to allow you to earn even more money when we talk about something a little bit later in this video. But for right now, it is going to earn you a decent amount of money. All you're going to have to do is spend $75,000 on supplies, and it will make you $210,000 worth of stock in just over 2 hours, which is a pretty decent $135,000 profit every 2 hours-ish, and you don't really have to think about it or worry. Just make sure that you fully upgrade the bunker with the equipment upgrade and the staff upgrade. It will also give you access to ammunition deliveries, which will pay you $50,000 for completing them, and those regen every 48 minutes, so you can keep doing them over and over again, similar to the export mixed goods with the CEO office. Next up, we have the Kasatka submarine coming in at $2,200,000. Now, the Cayo Perico guys are going to be like, no, you should buy the Kasatka first. I think that the Kasatka ruins the game for a lot of players with the Cayo Perico heist because the money is so easy to make, but it is really, really repetitive. It is going to be your ticket to making a lot of money in online, but I wouldn't make it your main way of earning money. This heist will only take about an hour to do once you get really good at it, and it's going to pay you $1.3 million to $1.7 million consistently, and it's not very hard to do. However, the replayability of the heist is pretty nerfed because they've made it so you can only do one every 3 hours or so, and I personally find it extremely boring to redo it over and over again. This is why I put it a little bit higher on the list, because I honestly do think that this has ruined the game for a lot of players, because it makes them feel like that's the only viable way to earn money, and it just isn't. Regardless, the Kasaka submarine is very useful to have, and it does get you access to Cayo Perico, so it is something that you should consider picking up a little bit later into the game, I think. And finally, at number 1, we have the Mission Row nightclub. Now, the Mission Row nightclub is the one that I use personally, and I think it is truly the best nightclub location. There's going to be people who are going to want to argue with me in the comments, but I truly think it is the best. It goes for $1,440,000, and it is the best business in the entire game. Now, unfortunately, because it is the best business in the entire game, it is going to be very expensive, which is why I put it as the number 1 thing on this list, because in order to make it fully effective, you're going to need a ton of other businesses. But to get started with the nightclub, you're going to make $50,000 every 48 minutes as long as your popularity in the upstairs of the nightclub is full. Now, there are popularity missions that can be done every 48 minutes to keep the popularity high, and my advice is to go into passive mode before entering your nightclub, and that will always give you the kick out troublemaker event, which will increase your popularity all the way to the top, as long as you don't let it get too low. And it will pay you $10,000, which of course is going to turn into $100,000, because you get 2 ticks of the popularity to go down where you're still earning 50k. Then you do the mission and then it goes back up and you're going to make way more money. Then we have the nightclub basement, which is a completely passive part of the business, and it's going to make you money for owning other businesses. Now, you have to hire these technicians, and they're going to accrue goods from the other businesses that you own. You're going to need all of the MC businesses, the bunker, and either a CEO cargo warehouse or the hangar, and that's going to allow you to make the most money possible from this. It makes about $80,000 an hour for you, which is not bad considering you literally do not have to do anything but own some other businesses and hire the technicians themselves. So anyway guys, that is it for 10 things that new players need to own in Grand Theft Auto Online in order to be successful. These are the best businesses in the game, and some of the vehicles that I've listed here are going to be very useful for you guys to have as well, while keeping it pretty cheap and allowing you to save money on some of the vehicles so you can spend more on the businesses to make more money, and then really start enjoying GTA Online, being able to purchase planes, helicopters, cars, whatever you guys want to do. This is going to be basically your recipe for success. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, a like is of course appreciated, if not dislike. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.